So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again to discuss yet another poor performance, but this time it resulted in a draw and not getting away with 3 points. Big up to everybody inside. Make sure you're smashing the like button. I'm going live with Henry in 47 minutes on Henry Wright TV. He's over the moon with their performances. Not that they'll win anything either, but there you go. It is what it is. Jez, how's your bank holiday treating you, mate?
Yeah, good, man. Actually, it's not that warm today, to be honest. The sun's out, but it's definitely getting autumnal now. You know what I mean? It's getting to that point. I'm just looking out the window here. There's all big trees there. I can see the old leaves are just starting on the turn. So we're heading into the dark nights and all the rain and the crap and bloody rubbish that comes with it. But apart from that, all good.
What about you, Kenny? How's your bank holiday going?
It's been pretty quiet, Like I said, it's been a big weekend, like in terms of Arsenal playing Fulham in the London derby. Yesterday, did a couple of good podcasts with JEZ'S and with Dan, with Northside and Gracie. Not in that particular order, so I had a good time. Yeah, today's been really quiet, but as Jez says, we're getting to the situation where you see leaves all over the grass. It's a conker season as well. I don't know. I wasn't that great at conkers, mate. I used to remember those kids with the big conkers, and then the guy with the little one used to go and smash the conker. So that's my memories of this time of the year. But one thing TV's put paid to is the fact that I was brought up as a kid to have Bank Holiday Monday football. Where are the Bank Holiday Monday fixtures? Sky, BT Sport. Look what you've done. You ruined it, haven't you?
Yeah.
My football was ruined Bank Holiday football.
Yeah, 100%.
Holiday football.
Yeah, 100%. But it's all about the money, mate. All about the money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And making everything more dramatic than it actually is. But that's what Sky and BT. Well, it's TNT now, isn't it? To make it even more dramatic. But anyway, it is what it is. Before we get into this, I see a quote a minute ago. I'm still trying to verify whether it's a true quote. I Googled it and I can't find it. But somebody's posted this on a Facebook account and it's getting mad amounts of traction. But I don't know whether it's a genuine quote or not. But I want to read it out anyway. Like I said, I can't find it, but I was doing it. I literally see it 2 minutes before we went live. So if anyone can confirm that it is a true quote, then that'd be great. But apparently Van Persie has said this. Arsenal can't win the title with Arteta as their manager. I don't hate him, but as pundits, we need to say the truth. Arsenal need a manager that has won lots of trophies with a winning mentality deposited on the players. Arsenal is not a club where up-and-coming coaches can go and learn how to coach. Arsenal now need a manager that has won a lot of trophies and wants to win more. Now, like I said, I don't know if that is a true quote, but if it ain't, it's still true in terms of what we think, isn't it? Yeah, because we do actually need a coach that has won quite a lot of trophies, including a title, whether that be here, Spain, Italy, wherever. Yeah, and this is something that we said from day one about the manager, that it's all well and good sitting next to Pep for 4 years, but can you actually do it? And so far, he's won one FA Cup. Fast forward 3 years later, 3 full seasons later, going into a fourth full season, not a half season, a full season, is still spent a fortune and not delivered anything other than that one and only FA Cup 4 FA Cups ago. But I'm hoping it's kind of true, because most of these pundits chat absolute crap. I mean, we only see yesterday Jamie Carragher waffling about it weren't a red card when it was one of the most clear red cards you're ever going to see in your life. But listen, like I said, I don't know if it is a true quote, but if it is, then he's got a point, isn't he, Jez?
Absolutely, yeah. And I truly hope that is a genuine quote from Robin Van Persie, because it's about time some of these ex-Arsenal players, I won't classify him as a massive player at Arsenal, but he was a decent player one season. But we need this sort of thing, because it needs to be highlighted. We sit here and we can identify the problems. There's a lot of people in the chat that also can identify the problems. So it's about time some of these big pundits, right, out there actually say it as it is. He ain't good enough. He's not good enough. And I'm sorry, this continual nonsensical messing around, it's going to cost us. We got lucky at the weekend against Fulham, a team that I predicted would beat 4-0, and we weren't even close to that. The fact is that now we're looking at having 7 points after 3 games, whereas this time last year we had 9 points and looked good. We look shaky now, and if we do this at the weekend against Man United, we're in trouble. Man United, I don't think, are quite as bad as people make out. They're not the team they were, for sure. But then again, you could also say, looking at the game Man City-Sheffield United yesterday, Man City looked a bit shaky. But we need to win something. We have to win big, right? And I'm fed up with this narrative of, well, people. I've had people come in my chat and say, yeah, well, but we're going forward. We're going forward. Yeah, how long do you go forward for? How long do you go forward without winning? It's not acceptable. He's had his time now. If he's not winning or challenging by Christmas, he's got to go. I'm sorry, he's got to go. End of story.
Yeah, what about you, Kenny? I agree with everything you just said, mate. At the end of the day, this will be 4 calendar years by Christmas. And how much longer do you go, Kenny?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, go back to what Brian by Percy said. It could be Alex. It could be someone who's probably, like I said, what they feel about the whole situation. But the fact is that the question that everyone refuses to ask, and they've refused to sort of pose it since December 2019. When you look at all the big clubs, or in this country, whenever a manager loses his job, the media always have like a big name associated with it, with that club, like be it Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, and let's go Chelsea. Everyone at university says, right, they've got to get this big coach. So they demand a big name at all these clubs. When it's Arsenal, it's okay to have an inexperienced coach. They're all right with it. So they try and say Arsenal not a big club then. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've always objected to it. I think you both are the same. I object to the fact that we've had a manager who's used this club as a stepping stone. I object to that, regardless of whether he's made progress, be it small or massive progress. The fact is, our club's been used as an experiment. In terms of what you guys say, I say it once. Always my theme, for 2024 is 4 years without a trophy, 30 years without winning Europe, and 20 years without winning the league. That's my motto, and I'll keep quiet until one of those things change. Either a trophy, we win something in Europe this year, which is a long shot, or we win the league. I'm not going to keep quiet because that's the standards you should have this football club. There's a few people who don't seem to accept that, who think he's doing a great job, and think that we're bizarre to demand his head at the end of the season. We don't win anything. Well, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not going backwards no more. I don't want to be associated with top 4 Arsenal. No, we've moved on from there. We've challenged the title. We were top for 93% of the season. The top 4 mentality has to go. And if you can't, like I said, promote the club in what I call the real positive way, i.e., celebrating, its status, shouting from the rooftops they're one of the 3rd biggest club in the country, demanding that we win trophies, then I just suggest you should stop going with Sky Sports, stop doing your podcasts, and just be quiet. Just go underground, because I'm not going to accept or keep quiet whilst you guys are going on the mainstream TV representing our great club with your level-headed rubbish. Level-headed. I'm not having it no more. I've had enough of you guys. You guys are doing my head in now. You're doing my head in, because the simple reason is that you're happy to hog the limelight, which we all do sometimes, but do it in the right way. By all means, go on your pointless transfer show on Sky. Go on TalkSport. Do your TalkSport 2, and kid yourself that TalkSport are going to use you permanently when the only reason why TalkSport and Sky have you guys on in the first place because you're cheap. Don't think for any minute that you guys are there because you're talented. You're cheap. They got rid of all their pitch side reporters. They got rid of Jeff Stelling. Jeff Stelling left, but they got rid of Jeff Reeves and all these other guys because they were getting paid top dollar, and Sky are making cuts. So they got you lot in on the cheap. Don't think it's because you're talented.
Mate, they don't even get paid. They get their free taxi there. That's about it.
But and that's the thing. They're there on the cheap. So if you're gonna talk about a process and try and shout people like us down, Ben Daniels or Ben Smith, who guys never have a podcast slagging us off and say, "Oh, what these guys talking about? The most negatives fans ever. It's only 3 games." Well, we've got a right to, like I said, have a go. Every Arsenal fan this weekend was dissatisfied with the performance. They were dissatisfied with the formations, and they're all pointing the finger at one man. We should be allowed to do that. So, all you positive guys, all I can suggest you do, keep your counsel. Go and watch something else. Go and watch, podcasts. Sucking up to Aaron Ramsdale's dad and going, "Oh, Nick, hello, Nick." I know he's an athlete, but come on, mate. He's someplace for Arsenal. What? So that makes you important. You know what I mean? I'd rather have the photographer on here. At least he's Arsenal.
It's true. The thing is, when you say about level-headed, these people are far from level-headed, Kenny. They think they're level-headed, yeah. And it's like, I don't know who it is that has put it in people's brains that you just have to back everything a club does to make you a proper football fan and level-headed. Oh yes, I can criticise, blah blah. Well, you don't know, do you? Yeah, you just go with what's fashionable, and that is what most of these people do. They go with what's fashionable. We've only got to go back to when we got pammed up at Everton. Yeah, Damari Gray screamer 2-1. Yeah, that game, literally everybody on social media was going, "Arteta out, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him." Why? Because it was fashionable that night, because we put in a poor performance. And that was a long run of poor performances. 3 games later, we win 3 out of 3, I think, beating Man United along the way. And all of a sudden, it's all positive again. And these people go where the wind blows. Yeah, but the problem with this is they have to, at some point, get a trophy out of it as a club. Yeah, or these people have to raise their head above the parapet and say it as it is in terms of not going with the flow. Because there's a tipping point at some point. When is it? Yeah, we've seen this season. We all expected, as Arsenal fans, after that season last season, yes, okay, we didn't win it, cool, but it was still decent football to watch. We were the best team to watch for most of the season, but ultimately, when the time to win the title came, we bottled it. But we've then gone and done over 200 million quid this summer, and we're like, right, okay, cool, no excuses anymore. We're going to come into this season, play good football again, and we've added a couple of players. Now let's kick on. And all we've seen so far in these first 3 games and the Community Shield, it's just absolute trash. It's like you get rid of a left back who's now playing up the road here, right, and go and play a centre back at left back. Make it make sense. You've got one of the best DMs in the league. I've been told he was better than Rodri, better than Casemiro. That's what we kept hearing last season. And then all of a sudden, he's now playing at right back. And a lot of this fan base wanted him gone because we signed apparently a better DM in Declan Rice. Well, I didn't see him in the conversations last year for best DM in the league. Because everyone was shoehorning Thomas Partey in there. And this is what I'm saying. This fan base are a massive issue, mate. An absolute huge issue at this football club. And especially when the club know this and peddle out everything to play up to them. Yeah, very similar to how Tottenham do it, very similar to how Man United do it. Not so much with Chelsea, but they're going down that route. Barcelona are going down that route. Yeah, peddling out PR rubbish. Yeah, because they've all realised, these football clubs, very quickly, because of lockdown, that you're only there for emotion. Yeah, you're just there for the vibes and the emotion. Yeah, it doesn't matter about winning. So they can fleece you, charge you more money, and because you don't know if football might disappear again for 2 years, you're going to be more emotionally invested and you're going to pay it anyway. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're trying. And the excuses I have heard, which leads me on, smash the likes up, people, 1,000 in it. The excuses I've heard for Kai Havertz since he has been here has been an absolute joke. Yeah, you have to have a deep understanding of football to understand what he does. There you go. I've seen what he's done for 3 years, mate. Yeah, and I'll be the first to admit, when he was at Leverkusen, I wanted him. I wanted him at Arsenal. I thought, what a player he could be. Look at what he's doing in Germany. Yeah, fair enough. Germany's not England, but still having that level of output in Germany, you'd expect him to have at least half of that in England, wouldn't you? And for 3 years, he's not. But now, excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. We're playing a right back who's a CDM. We're playing a left back who's a centre back. We've dropped in one of the best centre backs at our club. One of the best partnerships in the league. We're dropping him, and then the excuse on that is, all you lot that are moaning, yeah, you all wanted rotation. Now we're rotating, you don't like it. Why are we rotating at the start of the season? It makes no sense. Jez, what do you make of all of this Havertz love fest and party at right back and all of that?
Right. I mean, I last night when I did a show with Kenny and Gracie, I touched on this, and I've been an advocate of saying I think somewhere in there's a player. I'm taking all that back because I'm now calling him liar Havertz because he obviously lied about the fact he could play football, and the love fest that this guy is good. And I've come to a conclusion, and this is my view on this. We've seen players come from Europe before who have failed because they just can't handle the Premier League. And I think this guy's one of them. Personally, I think he doesn't have the confidence. I don't think he has the actual mental ability about him. He was very good in the Bundesliga, but I don't think he's the levels of the Premier League. I think it's too fast. I think it's too physical, and he can't compete. And I don't think he ever will compete. Yet Arteta, because we've spent £65 million on him, thinks, oh, we've got to play him. We've got to play him. When will you actually watch Arteta and see what he does in a game? Because on Saturday, he was bloody atrocious. He was shocking. Kenny was there. You saw it better than me. But watching it on the TV, I could see he was crap. His ball control is bloody awful. And if you're going to make it at a professional level, especially at Arsenal Football Club, where I demand the best of the best, I'm wrong. I'm criticised. I'm told you're talking rubbish. You don't know ball. What are you on about? Sorry, I've seen fantastic footballers at this football club over the years. Some amazing footballers, and this guy ain't one of them. But as you quite rightly say, Lee, the fan base will accept mediocrity. There's a guy, I know who it is. It's the same one that trolls me all the time under different names, saying that Arteta's the best manager in the world. Why? He hasn't won anything.
One FA Cup, and he's banging on like that.
Why?
But this is what they do, Jez. This is what this fan base do, and this is why the club have fleeced them for so long. How can they put the prices up and give you less games? Now they're doing a ballot system. It's hilarious watching some of these top gooners, by the way, that have lost out in 4 out of 4 ballots and they can't go to a game. It's hilarious watching them all crying. Oh, the ballot's so unfair. Tough. The less you're
back on Twitter. You're back on Twitter, aren't you? So you've noticed.
I am. Yes. So I've got people that want to fight me. I've got people that want to debate me. I've got people that just crying. Oh, this guy's back conveniently, and then Arsenal draw. Me. Mate, I was back on it the day before the game, and we'd won 3 games out of 3 if you include the Community Shield. But this is what they do, and this is why the club fleece them. They put the prices up every year.
The reason why they got fleeced is serves them right, because it was you guys who went on social media and started moaning about not getting away tickets and certain tickets.
Exactly.
The club decided to do something about it, and what happened is that fans who just wanted to go to football, didn't want no trouble, didn't want to go on social media, just want to go and get their club. They love to go to every game, but they were happy with the amount of games they got. Now, because of people, I can't get a ticket, the club are tying it up. Because what's happening now, the club think stupidly, naively think they can beat the Touts. You can't beat the Touts. Oh. The Touts are free. The Touts are 2 steps ahead of you, the club. And I'm no tout. I'm just seeing what I see. I'm not grassing anyone up. I'm just stating facts. Perhaps you guys who couldn't get tickets and trying to get your lights and fires, perhaps you better start to keep your gob shut. Because what you've done, you sport the silent guys who struggle to get a ticket. They'll get in tickets, not to every game, but they'll get in tickets. Now they can't. You take out the plural, it's probably just a singular if they're lucky, singular, rather than a plural, i.e. the amount of tickets they were getting under a system that you lot were whinging about. Well, because you couldn't get to an away game you wanted because someone else got there first. Tough luck. It's life. First come, first serve. We know that. But, I want to touch on something as well. Someone mentioned about, poor old Yarn, mate. I mean, the way that guy gets treated is a disgrace.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I mean, to interview a guy, ask a guy's opinion, and decide all of a sudden that you want to give your opinion yourself, and then you allow some pork chop who you've never interviewed, even if he was the last person on earth, but because you wanted to, annoy one of your guests who's a regular on your channel in terms of doing interviews after the match, you embarrassed him with that prat, that pork chop, all because he didn't suit your purpose. I mean, come on. Either you're interviewing the guy, or you're interviewing yourself. Surely, as an interviewer, you hear other people's views and let them speak. But every time this guy talks about the same sort of situation, he talks about team formations. He mentions about the results. Even questions the manager. You shout him down. It's not a good look. It's pathetic. We all know that you've got an in with the football club, and respect to that. You've got a business to run, but for the love of God, if you don't want to hear his opinion, then stop wasting the guy's time by interviewing him. You are taking the mickey out of him, and you're being disrespectful, and you're annoying your audience. Because even though I don't like your content, I do watch the odd channel, and I mainly watch him because he says it how it is. And I watch obviously Dan and Leaks and me mates.
There was another lad on there as well. I can't remember the guy's name.
Go on,
finish your sentence, mate. Go on. Sorry.
I watch Yard, man, and he's getting disrespected. That's not. You're out of order. The way you're interviewing and trying to shout him down is out of order. He's allowed to say what he wants. He paid for his season ticket.
Yeah, facts. Hey, there's another lad that goes on there. Somebody sent me a link for a TikTok video where the guy's on there. I think he was the guy that shouted, "We've got the best young team in the world" or something last season. Right? I posted him a couple of weeks ago when he got shut down. Yeah, and this time round, there's some geezer in the crowd screaming and shouting, "Mate, why don't you shut up and you wait and come and do your own interview, mate? How about that?" Yeah, and this is all that happens, right? And people think, they believe in their tiny brain somewhere, right, that we're the only ones that actually want this manager out. There's only a handful of us, a tiny, tiny little majority of us. There's thousands of us. There's literally thousands, because we actually understand the aim of the sport. The aim of the sport is to lift a trophy at the end of the season, yeah, or maybe one in February when the League Cup final happens. Yeah, but this fan base have been duped so much, yeah, that top four is bigger than everything. And then now we're in the Champions League, we can attract world-class players. Well, is Kai Havertz world-class? No. Is David Raya? No. Is Declan Rice? No. Yeah, what about Timber? No. So all the four signings we've made, not one of them's world-class. Yes, we've got some very good players out of that. 3 of the 4 are pretty good, aren't they? Yeah, but they're not world-class, are they? But we've been told for 6 years we need to get back into that competition to go and get world-class players. Well, world-class is Mbappe. Yeah, world-class is Vinny Jr. Players like that. Go and give me someone like that. World-class is Harry Kane. Yeah, didn't bid for him, though, did we? It's just baffling, mate. But this is what happens when they watch Sky Sports every day. Yeah, when they sit there listening to these pundits chatting absolute crap. Yeah, about, the top 4 races heating up. And the transfer window, deadline day, the window slams shut. They make it so dramatic. Yeah, the aim of the game is to win. At the end of the season, one team's lifting the title, the other 19 have lost. There is no progress. You've either won or you've lost. And at the start of the next season, you will start on 0 and you do it again. Yeah, how is this so complicated for people? Yeah, but we finished 8th, 5th, and now 2nd. That's progress. No, it ain't. In them 4 seasons where we finished in the league, 8th, 5th, 2nd, that meant we lost all 4 years in the league, doesn't it? That's what it means. Yeah. Well, there we go then. That's not progress, is it? We lost. Yeah, it's either losing or winning. It is not rocket science. Anyway, Go on, Jez. Go on, mate.
Sorry, mate. I think the problem is with a lot of the people that support this process, whatever you want to call it, is that they want to be part of the group. They don't have the kahunas to actually challenge and say, actually, this is crap. This is bullshit. And the problem I'm seeing in this is a lot of these fans that are happy to go along with the crowd is because, as you put it, they only know Arsenal from the glory days of the Invincibles and the Wenger era. And okay, I'll get that. But have the bollocks to stand up and say, actually, I watch this club week in, week out. I may be a season ticket holder. I may not be a season ticket holder. I may live abroad, and it doesn't matter. Stand up and say what you feel. You don't have to go with the narrative. Have the bollocks to say, actually, Arteta, you're an absolute prick because you're playing crap football. And the team, I honestly believe this. I said this to Kenny and Gracie last night. I honestly think the team doesn't want to play this way. I think last season we had a great team and we were turning teams over week in, week out until we got to Man United and we actually played terribly that day. And I put a lot of the blame on that is the fact that he made some terrible substitutions in that game. But I gave him license. I went, okay, everybody cocks up and I'll go with him. And yet, if you remember last year, we were supporting that Arteta and saying, yeah, you did a great job. Like what you're doing. You know, on occasions, maybe you should mix it up a little bit more, but okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. But people, please, don't keep going with the narrative of whatever he does is correct, because he clearly isn't. Gary Neville called him out and said, Arsenal won't win with this setup. He needs to go back to basics.
Oh, but Gary Neville's got an agenda, Jez. He's got an agenda.
I don't care, Lee, if he's got an agenda or not.
He's speaking facts.
But the fact is, the fan base, you've really got to step up, put your head above the parapet, show some bollocks, and actually say, actually, Arteta, you're being an absolute prick, and I don't like what you do. End of my rant.
No, you're spot on, because at the end of the day, and I know there's Lee Gunner bingo game out there about some of the certain phrases I use, but the facts are we smashed Highbury down to compete with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich had just won 10 league titles on the spin. Oh yeah, but it's a Farmers League. Well, so is this, because Man City are the only serious ones in England.
Look, Lee, it was always about money. It was never about trophies. It's always about
we
money.
know this.
The Emirates is about money. You know, is about money. David Dean was probably the only person who wanted to knock down Highbury in order so he can compete financially to buy players. But Arsenal had the big people like Fryer, the Hillwoods, Fishman. They wanted to be like a financial pie house where they just had pots of money, and they've achieved that. In many times over. The fact is that David Dean didn't want to move to Emirates. David Dean wanted to move us to Wembley because he wanted us to have a ready-made stadium in order that so money would be concentrated on and buying players. Arsenal obviously rightly so as well. They wanted to stay in their Islington. I think they had a duty to stay in the borough, just like Spurs have stayed around White Hart Line area, and Chelsea have a duty to stay around Stamford Bridge area. No matter how much they spend the ground, you have a duty to do that. So the club did the right thing. But in terms of like saying they're going to compete with the big clubs in Europe, Man United, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and everything, off the field, yes, they are competing financially. But in terms of players they're buying, that's never been the case. It's all about money and business now, business and merchandise. Players by accumulating players. Well, some businessmen and some, clubs budget for league finishes, i.e., when we finish third, we get such and such money, we'll get into this competition. If we get as far as we can, maybe the last 16 or maybe if we're lucky at the quarters, that's it. We've made a profit. Plus, you can think about all the TV rights we're going to get for getting as far as we can in that competition. And look at all the merchandise we get and the extra tickets we can get as well, and the extra boxes you can fill. That's it. And we're not alone in behaving like this. Man United have definitely gone down that route as well, where they've basically thought more about money than trophies. Hence the fact that both clubs are languishing behind, Man City and Chelsea in terms of ambition. Not such Chelsea, because obviously Abramovich is in there, but you can definitely say Man City, because it's all about Man City and Chelsea have worked out. Maybe they've had to do it differently, because Man City and Chelsea, with respect, are not as big as Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. Just then that Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United always have the tradition behind them. Man City and Chelsea have had the tradition, but not as big as the top three. So they have to rely on winning things in order to gain new fans, gain more merchandise, and get more sponsorships. So they've done it what I believe is the right way, and the only way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. But Arsenal and Man United, I want to say something to Liverpool, they put business first and money first, which I'm against.
100%. Big up to everyone inside, 1,220 people. Big up to everyone on Facebook as well. Make sure you're smashing the like button into next year. Before we move on to Smith Rowe linked to Chelsea, we'll come to that in a minute. I get asked this all the time. Who is your ideal replacement for Mikel Arteta? The problem I have I'm going to tell you my replacement in a minute. But the problem is, and I know you're not doing it, but a lot of people go, yeah, but who would you replace him with? He's the best manager for us at the moment. Me. Well, let's hope he don't leave then, because he thought about it this summer. Yeah. Because if he leaves, there's no other manager, according to you lot, that is good enough, because he's the best man for the job. My replacement, Diego Simeone. And then all you get when you say Diego Simeone is, oh, but he plays negative football. Well, he won a league title 2 years ago. Yeah, go and ask Atleti fans if it was negative, lifting that title at the end of the season. Go and ask them if it was negative, getting to 2 Champions League finals and losing out narrowly in both. Yeah, go and ask them if it was negative when they beat us in 2017 or 18, or when it was in the semi, after getting knocked out of the Champions League, coming into Europa, and then won that, and then won it again another time. Yeah, 2012, I think it was. Yeah, or whenever. Ask them if it was negative when they won a double, winning the league at Barca's ground and the cup at Real Madrid's ground. Yeah, first time they've beaten Madrid for 20 attempts. Yeah, ask them, their fans, if it's negative. I think he's actually won 1 trophy less than Wenger did at Arsenal. Yeah, go and ask them if it's negative. They've shoehorned their way into a conversation with the 2 biggest clubs on the planet. Yeah, and now they are legit certified. Yeah, in a conversation every year. Yeah, ask their fans if that's negative. But all you get is, no, he plays crap football. Well, okay, cool. Go and get me Ancelotti then. Oh, no. Look at what he did at Madrid. Look at what he did at Everton, sorry. And look what he did at Napoli. He's won 6 trophies in 2 years back at Madrid. Oh, yeah, but it's Madrid League. Yeah, the team we're supposed to be like. The team we've actually outspent on net spend since 2008. Since 2008, we have outspent them by a mile, mate. And look at their squad and look at our squad. Yeah, look at what they've won in that time and look at what we've won in that time. Yeah, it's embarrassing, man. It really is. And every time you mention a manager, it instantly gets dismissed. It's like, mate, this guy's won 1 FA Cup, got rid of everyone pretty much, and done 600 million and won nothing. We're talking about some of the best managers on the planet, and this is what we need. We need a serial winner, yeah, with a serial elite mentality to come into a team that is doing all right in terms of league position last season. Well done, second, great. I remember when we finished second to Leicester. Kenny, you were there. I was there. Them seasons after that as well. Yeah. People weren't happy with that. People were punching each other up in the ground, Wenger in, Wenger out.
Yeah, because they knew it was a false dawn. We all knew it was a false dawn at the time. We knew that it was a season where our rivals weren't at their best, and we kind of knew that we weren't even the best team in it, but we should have won. We only want to win it in the reputation, but it was only going to play back the cracks. The thing with this manager here is that he's always experimenting. Every season, he's changed the way we played. He hasn't settled on a style of play. And the excuse was always, I need to get my own plays in. I need to farm these players out, sell them, because they're not the characters and the kind of players I need. So we've had to endure the garbage, which is the 2021 season. 22-23 21-22 when we bottled the top four. Yeah, they're just coming into their own, and they're evolving. And then last season, when we bottled the league, we were told that, well, what do you expect? We didn't really expect to challenge Man City. It's a bonus. So what's this season then?
Yeah.
He's experimented again. Where he's played a system which he tried out last season, where he put Pite right back, Ben White in the middle, and then he's carried it on for the first 3 games of the season. So what is it? Another experiment? Is he satisfied with what he's got? What more does he want? He's got a lot of money. He hasn't got world-class players, which he probably done. He's got good players who now are there to evolve. I don't understand why he's fixing something that wasn't particularly broken. His style of play last season was nearly conducive for us to win the league. Then, all because he's bought Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, and Timber, he's now trying to experiment. And he's trying to fit them all in the team. Well-meaning, but when you see performances like we did on Saturday, Arsenal fans could, disrespectful and all they like, but you need to stop. Take off your sort of rose-tinted glasses and do the eye test, and don't try and convince me that Fulham were lucky. We were lucky. Had it not been for a penalty and for that prat pulled shot, Bassey trying to waste time, we would have lost that game. That's the long and short of it. That's the fact.
Yeah.
Fulham dealt with our attacks comfortably. Can't remember any clear-cut chances where Leonard made a lot of stitch saves. I can't remember any. If you can, I can't remember any. I can't. There was a lot of shots outside the box, but they were blocking a lot of their shots. They were intercepting their passes. Polina was running the show. Pereira was running off Jimenez, and then you had basically Wilson. Like I said, controlling the game in terms of his passing. He was doing what Odegaard was supposed to do. That's the eye test. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about the fact that we got a goalie who everyone says is world class. He's one of the top goals keepers in the country. He should be England's #1. Yet when you look at the modern goalkeeper, show me a reel when he's playing at the back. Show me a reel of his distribution as compared to Alisson, Edison, and Royer in a favourable way. If you could show me it, I'll stop talking about the fact that Arteta's got the goalkeeper he wants and he's not playing him. Because these are all issues that could bite us up the arse. Doesn't matter, it's game 3. The fact is that we know what's needed to challenge Man City. We don't want Man City to get away on a run because the law of averages states they're hard to catch. It's hard to catch them.
Right, and we always know they're going to come great in the last 2 months of the season. The last 10, 15 games, they're going to be like a juggernaut. Yeah, and if you give them a head start, it's curtains. You're dusted. You're done. Yeah, and I don't think last season I don't think they won 3 out of 3 at the start of the season. I'm pretty sure they didn't. I may be wrong. Yeah, but if you look at their next 4 fixtures, they should win all 4 of them. Yeah, Wolves, Burnley. I think they got Everton, Fulham at their ground. They ain't dropping 2 points. I'll be shocked if they drop 2 points.
That's 7 out of 7 then. That's 21 points.
And that's what I'm saying. You give them 21 points out of 21 points. We've got Man United coming up. We've got who else coming up?
Everton away.
There you go. Everton away a ground we ain't won at since 2017. We've got Liverpool coming up.
Spurs as well.
Spurs as well. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You can't give them 21 out of 21. They have to drop points somewhere for us to have a sniff. Yeah, and it will only be a sniff. Yeah, because this manager needs to go back to basics. Yes, cool. I understand you want to rotate, and we all cried out for squad depth. But when you actually deep our squad, the only actual active addition in terms of extra player, right, that hasn't replaced one that's left is Kai Havertz. That's it. Timber's replaced Tierney. Yeah, cool. But now he's out injured. Havertz is the only one because Rice has come in for Xhaka and Rayer's come in for Turner. So it's all 1 in, 1 out. The only active player that has actually come in to fill an extra spot is Kai Havertz, and he's the worst one in the squad. Yeah, when Fabio Vieira come on the other day, he was our best player. He was on the pitch 20 minutes. Yeah, him and Eddie Nketiah were our best 2 players. Yeah, that's crazy. It's actually insane. But when you actually look at it logically, you're playing Partey at right back, so no wonder Saka's got 3 or 4 around him. Yeah, you're playing Kai Havertz in midfield, so no wonder Martinelli's ineffective. Yes, wait until we have Zinchenko, Kai Havertz, and Martinelli down that side. Any competent right wingers schooling Havertz and Zinchenko. Yeah, absolutely ruining them. But you can rotate. Of course you can. You have to rotate if you want to get through a whole season. I get that. But why are you doing it right at the beginning of the season? Put your best 11 out, get the points on the board, and then when it comes around to the September, when the Champions League kicks in, then you can start mixing and matching the odd player here and there. But you play them in their right positions. You don't throw players at right back that are centre DMs. Makes no sense. But listen, before we wrap this up, people, 1,300 inside. Good figures as well, man. Make sure you are smashing the like button. Sub to JEZ'S channel and Kenny's Insta. Both links are in the description. I'll read these 2 super chats out real quick, and then we'll finish up on Smith Rowe, going to Chelsea potentially. Next, it's going to be all about top 10 with European spots. How low do they want to take this? It's about going for the trophy. That's what they do, bro. The Champions League has now got 5 spots available. So you can finish 4th loser in your league, and you're in the Champions League. Well, you're not a champion, are you?
No.
Look what happened 2 years ago, Lee. What happened 2 years ago? 2 years ago, Real Madrid, Barcelona were deadly, and Juventus were deadly serious about the Super League. They're still deadly serious about that. And, Arsenal were desperate to join. Liverpool were desperate to join. Man United were desperate to join. Man City didn't want to miss out, but made out they weren't desperate to join. And Chelsea didn't want to miss out. But secretly they thought, hang on here, we want to be part of this. Oh, yeah, I'll let the Spurs want to be part of it. That, the big clubs in Europe are fed up to the back teeth of UEFA, not giving them.
And now the Saudi League is going to elevate that, and this Super League will happen at some point. Yeah, because that Saudi League is going to take over if they carry on doing what they're doing. Big up to Southern Gooner as well. Make sure you sub to Match Channel. With the exact same team performing the exact same way we did at the end of last season. Not a lick of progress. The manager is not the man needed, and that Havertz will be the nail in the coffin. I agree, mate, because he's going to die on that hill. He is going to die on that Havertz hill, mate. Yeah, because everyone's hoping he comes good. Hoping. Mad. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Who's feeding Win the Dog after the draw? Cedric is teaching it Portuguese. I know, mate. This football club. Yeah, I swear, it's one of the least serious football clubs in terms of size of the club. Yeah, it's one of the least serious on the planet. When you think of all the big great clubs out there, it is the least serious. I don't see Ancelotti getting a dog. Yeah, I don't see Simeone or Xavi getting a dog. Yeah, I don't see Tuchel getting a dog. It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Big up Daryl, man. Big up to Laura as well. Havertz sexuals say he's elite off the ball pressing. Bro, once upon a time, you used to get judged on what you do on the ball. Now it's all about blocking spaces and pressing and eating Skittles. Crazy, isn't it? But thank you for that, mate. Appreciate the love, as always. Smash the likes up. Jez, Smith Rowe to Chelsea. That would not surprise me if we do it. To be fair, he probably should be thinking of leaving as well, because he's way down the pecking order on the left wing. And now he's got Fabio Vieira and Kai Havertz in front of him in the CM position. So, yeah, for me, go. See ya.
Yeah, I just don't understand why we buy this dross from Chelsea, yet we let decent players go the other way. I think it's a disgrace, personally. I like ESR, but fair play to you, young man. You're not going to get much game time at Arsenal, so I wish you all the best.
There we go. What about you, Kenny? Realistically, I can't see a pathway for him in the team. I really couldn't see a pathway in the team. I mean, the game was crying out for a bit of pace, an injection of pace, and he didn't bring him on.
No.
He didn't bring him on. We all associate Smith Rowe with his quick running on the counter attack, and being able to get in the box, get beyond the striker, and get in goal scoring positions and put him away. Remember, I haven't seen Smith Rowe play like that for 2 years because he's been injured. Yep. I can't see a pathway for him. But I think what will happen is that Arsenal will make it very, very difficult for Chelsea, at the 11th hour to get him on a cheap. The lad's going to have to push through and say, look, I'm off. That's the way it's going to happen.
But maybe he's already. Listen, I only see the story in about 10 minutes before I came on. So there's what 3 or 4 days left of the transfer window.
Yeah.
Whatever shuts on the first, didn't it? I think 11 o'clock.
Well, yeah, it shuts. I think it's Friday. But as I
Yeah.
said before, I'll be very, 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 very surprised if it happens at this 11 hour. But you got to watch this space because the guy will be knocking on the door and saying, "Hang on," I'm like, "What's all this about?" He's signing players in my position. I'm not getting a lick of paint. You know, litmus test is going to be what happens in litmus test is going to be with the cup competitions. He can't get in the team during the cup competitions. Your writing's on the wall. He's got to look at it right now and think, you know, even the style of play doesn't suit him now anyway. So why stick around?
Yeah. Mate, it's true. It's true. Yeah, and listen, he does have problems with injuries. We've seen that. But he is a good player. But does anybody actually genuinely believe that if we sell him, then we're going to get upwards of 50, 60 million for him?
Not a chance.
We've just seen Balogun go for 34 million quid. If Balogun played for Chelsea and they sold him after having a season in France like that, they'd probably get 60 for him. Yeah, we're crap at selling. Yeah, and we overpay on buying.
You know. I think it is with we don't know what's going to be to throw. We got a player who generally couldn't give a toss if he's here anymore. Like a lot of the players who we wanted to get rid of, they don't want to leave Arsenal. They own the fact that we're a big club. They love being here. This guy just wants to play. He thinks, stuff it. I'll go somewhere else. I'm not sticking around to be part of Arteta's squad and be an understudy to the substitute, which is Eddie Nketiah. No chance. I want better than that. I'm off. Don't care about whether Arsenal's this big club. I need to play. You mean, come on. He didn't want to wait around for England. USA offered him, the Gold Cup and probably a starting place in, was it 3 years? We don't know what happens in 3 years, but they've offered him a starting place. He's off, so he's not going to wait for England. He's not going to wait for us, is he, Balogun? Off you go, mate.
Yep, 100%. 100%. We'll end on this one. Big up Jez, Matty, Kenny and Lee. Smith Rowe is versatile. Take a shot. He suits Chelsea's profile. Listen, Smith Rowe, we see it when he did play. Kenny just mentioned it a second ago. When he did get in the team on a regular basis, he was bagging goals. He was driving forward. He had loads of pace. He was deceptively quick, physical. And then he was injured, ends up playing against Man United, gets injured in the warm down, and then barely features ever since. Yeah, but this is what this manager does. He'll freeze players out of this team. Yeah, left, right, and centre. Kieran Tierney, Aubameyang, Ozil. Yeah, with Pepe. Pepe's only just been allowed to train with the first team again. Yeah, he was training on his own. Yeah, Balogun was frozen out completely, not even given a chance. Do you know what I'm saying? It's mad. Maybe Balogun just said, bollocks, I want to leave. Maybe he did. We don't know. My Mac's bugging out. My Mac's moving like Arteta. But it is what it is. Listen, I'm going live with Henry Wright. Thank you for the super chats. Big up to everybody who's commented as well. Big up Steve for the super sticker as well, buddy. If it pins. Bear with me. While we're wrapping this up, Jez, shout your channel out, mate, and what you got coming up.
Arsenal history and more. Tomorrow night, I'm on with Matt the Southern Gooner. And then Wednesday, 6 p.m., I've got you and Kenny on, which will be a great show. Lee, I did actually send a Insta to Ola to see if he wanted to join us, but I've not heard anything back. If you can contact him, see if he wants to join. If he can't, he can't. But there you go. Be nice to get Ola on. But yeah, there we go. Kenny, down to you.
Well, as I said, you know what I'll be doing this week. This Wednesday, I'll be with you and Lee having our usual Wednesday discussion. Obviously, we're going to be doing a preview of the Man United game, and who knows? We'll probably look at the last couple of days in lieu of the end of the transfer window, because I still think I was speaking to Dan and Northside yesterday. We're probably looking at outgoings for incoming for them this Friday, and I think we've just got to be realistic. I've just run out of time, but they're still trying to get rid of players. But to get them in, you're only going to get a bit of player in, aren't you?
Yeah, mate, I totally agree. Make sure you come and check out the show with Henry Wright. It'll redirect you straight there. Yeah, I'll message Ola. I think he works till 8 o'clock though, but I'll double check. I'll text him. I'll forward your number on to him if that's all right, mate. And I'll text him and say,
No.
All right, sweet. All right, listen, big up to everyone inside. Go and spam Henry Wright's chat. What should we spam him with this week? Because obviously they won. They're level on points with us.
Just pretend to be. Just say, Henry Wright's a Robbie Williams fan, or just say, introduce yourself, mate. Before you speak to me, introduce yourself, mate. He'll know I'm talking about.
Spam some kangaroo emojis as well. Just spam the kangaroo emoji in this chat.
I don't know. I was gonna say do the sort of like the Timey Kangaroo, song, but a certain person sang that, and we can't talk about that bloke.
On that bombshell, big up to Malcolm as well, man. 17 months, big up, most protected manager in history. Absolute facts, and that is a perfect way to end the show. You lot have been real ones. I will have a video dropping later on the second channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Lee Reacts is literally about 150 away from 20k, so go and follow Lee Reacts, follow Jez, and follow Kenny. All links in description. We're out. Laters. I'll Arteta out.